What's the funniest thing that's happened to you during sex? I was with a girl who liked to wrestle a bit and be held down, except she was a dancer with incredibly powerful legs and I underestimated her, and she accidentally kicked me in the chest and broke one of my ribs. Fatality. Flawless victory. Imagine explaining that to the doctors. Well doc, I was wrestling my girlfriend to the ground while we are both completely naked and well she kicked me in the chest. Sex injuries are so ridiculously common it's almost lost its humor, almost. As I was going down on my wife, the cat decided it would be a good time to climb and sit on top of my head. I tried to ignore it, but when she looked down she started laughing so hard that it killed the mood for the rest of the night. Pussy sandwich. Only the four-legged one was riding the crown of my head. An ex of mine curled and farted right in succession when we were nearly at the point of climax. She was absolutely mortified, but I thought it was the funniest thing ever at the time and it honestly just made me feel more comfortable with her. It was, however, very sad how bad she felt about it. She legitimately thought I would never want to touch her again simply for having natural bodily emissions. Honestly, it never fails to depress when I hear the kinds of things that partners think will make me less attracted to them. Thank you for being a voice of reason. I can't believe women shame themselves and get shamed by some incredibly unrealistic standards. We're all just trying to stay alive. I farted once while riding and the guy lost it. He told me I was disgusting and he couldn't finish because of how gross it was. Those men are out there and they are the reason we get embarrassed. I farted during sex and was mortified. My boyfriend, now husband, and I laughed in the moment, then I asked if it killed the mood, cause I was kinda embarrassed. He told me don't be embarrassed. I think it's sexy and take it as a compliment that I can make you come so hard that you fart. Definitely a keeper, to put my fears at ease so succinctly. I was sitting on his face for the first time while he ate me out, and I squirted without even realizing it. Instant waterboard. I noticed he made a weird face and thought maybe I was smothering him too much, but instead he made a run for the bathroom to spit it all out. He killed the mood because we were laughing so hard and now I joke to him about how he doesn't swallow. Successfully asserted dominance. This happened to me once but she peed on me instead. Never really wanted to know what urine tastes like, confirmed that I'm not into golden showers, and had to get a few swallows in so I didn't choke. Luckily she noticed pretty quickly. Had to get a few swallows in so I didn't choke. And they say chivalry is dead. Okay, question, is it alright to swallow squirt and gruel? Genuinely don't know. I mean, I'll never be in a situation where I can do it but still would like to know. I don't know why but I've always hated the term gruel. I think because it's a homonym. Gruel insinuates a gross, runny, grainy broth and that just doesn't compute well in my mind as something sexy. The worst part about prison was the Dementors. And the gruel sandwiches. Nothing but gruel. Turns out the headboard was exactly the right height to sit on for a BJ. Turns out the headboard wasn't strong enough to hold his weight. We've been in an ongoing Nerf war since I want to say February. Recently she pulled a pistol from underneath her pillow and shot me point blank while I came. It's Nerf or nutting. She was on her knees, face down on the bed and I ate her out. That fucking fart blast that just tripped right up my nose gave me a good scare. Trying to not wake the house up Lamau at 3:24 AM. Yep. I definitely just woke every cat in the house with my shrieking laughter. I've called off even non-date nights over a mildly upset tummy just fearing this potential outcome on a night I merely assumed oh god no, something embarrassing might happen. May, with the right person you both would end up laughing. I did and then soldiered on. I was on a mission, and the goal was to make her come. She did, but I've never seen a face looking so much like a tomato before. Still chuckle just thinking about it. Smile. Did you get pink eye? Nope, pretty sure my nose got it all. The boyfriend was going down on me, he started doing a Cookie Monster impression while he was down there. It made me laugh so hard I let out a little fart right on his face. Coochie Monster. C is for coochie and that's good enough for me. Ripped a fart accidentally when I came on her tits. Her face went from pleasure to just a dead stare while holding her tits. This made me laugh harder than the actual story. Was doing it with someone and our friend knocks on the door. Hey, I have a question. Not now, insert name here. Seriously, you guys want to throw around a baseball? That's hilarious. Poor dude was just trying to hang out, ha ha ha. One of the very first times I ever had sex, I looked out my window to see my neighbor having sex with his girlfriend. He noticed me and nodded "was up" mid-stroke. Later found out that the girl he was having sex with at that moment was my neighbor from the house that I had just moved away from like 6 months prior. My new neighbor was fucking my old neighbor and I saw them while having sex with my girlfriend. Small world. We both farted at the exact same time, whilst maintaining eye contact. That's when you know you've found the one. Got so lost while hitting it from the back that I drooled all over her. I don't know why, but I blame her for making me lose cognitive function for a bit. Well, at least now I know I'm not the only one. Lol. Dude, I am legit crying from laughter here. Dude, I can only imagine her thought process of, he's still in me, what is wet on me? When I first started dating my girlfriend, I stepped on a bottle of lube, spraying it all over her wall, and then slipped on it, fell on the floor, then subsequently farted on impact. 2 seconds later, the Canada Day fireworks went off in the harbor downtown. True story. I wish I could make that my signature move. Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious. That sounds like it would be straight out of a sitcom. Curb Your Enthusiasm theme plays. I was going down on my girlfriend in high school. I was kneeling next to the bed with her legs hanging off the end. I was fully erect and my cat came from under the bed and licked the tip of my penis. Scared the shit out of me. If you have ever felt a cat tongue, you'll know how horribly uncomfortable that felt on the tip of my member. Looks like your dick touched the wrong pussy. Left the door open when nobody was home. When I was about to come, my dog ran into the room barking and tried to jump up onto the bed. Also once was at an Airbnb and the bed was making a lot of noises, and mid-fuck the headboard broke off and fell on top of us. One of the first times I ever had sex with my wife, I was trying to jack off on her face and I was using my spit as lube. She said, "You're getting spit on the face," but I heard spit on my face. So I did and we both died of laughter. Goodness, first time and you're nutting on her face, gotta do it right the first time. I had gone over to this guy's house wearing my new Vans shoes. I was in high school, so these $50 shoes were my Sunday's best. We went upstairs and started going at it. He was behind me and I was facing the window to the backyard. Like 5 minutes in, I see his dog run into the backyard and tear one of my new shoes apart all over the grass. I thought it was so funny I couldn't even be upset. I miss that dog. Funny story. We decided that it would be a good idea to try something new, dating for nearly 2 years at this point, and went to have sex in the shower. Foreplay happened, the shower was on. To add to the disaster, I knocked my shampoo by accident, but we shrugged it off. The last thing I knew, he slipped on the shampoo and we both went down. He cracked his pelvis, nothing too dangerous, so he was fine after some months, and I had a cut on my lip because I bit it by accident when we fell. We're not dating anymore, but we're still friends, and we still laugh about it. In the middle of it, we heard her little brother jokingly yell from the other side of the door, "Don't be fucking," then he ran in. Didn't have any time to hide, so I just stared at him. He yelled "oh fuck" and ran out of the room. Another thing that is more embarrassing than funny, but my GF's mother has the tendency to either not knock at all or knock on the door but no wait at all before rushing in. Most of the time we've managed to hide. Of course she probably always knows what has been happening, but at least she hasn't seen me fully naked a whole lot. But once my GF was sitting on top of me and her mom came in. GF managed to grab a blanket, but she literally sitting on top of me isn't obvious at all. Edit, no, her door doesn't have a lock. I'm acknowledging your privacy by knocking but coming in anyway. Smashes the door down immediately. She knew what was happening and still barges in. Sounds like mom wants some action. Sounds like the mom has no fucking manners. I remember she had like The loudest queef ever, and she was so embarrassed, but I couldn't contain my laughter. Oh my god, I think I was crying of laughter. It wasn't the first time she had queefed during sex, but this time it was so loud, oh boy, I felt so bad afterward. She became a bit self-conscious because I was her first ever sexual partner. So after the fact, I remember we sat down and talked about how it was natural and there was nothing wrong with it. I mean, she was my wife, so I obviously was supportive. But I'll never forget that loud ass queef. She passed out while on top of me right before I had to leave, so I couldn't get up. And that was the first time I've ever used a sick day at work. What a call to make. Sorry, I can't come in today. We did it and she passed out on top of me. Yeah, I'm that good. They pass out after from the pure joy. Should be in tomorrow, unless it happens again. Why did she pass out? Overexertion. It doesn't happen often, but if my husband does foreplay first and then we have rough sex for 10 minutes or more, I generally blank out. He's learned it's best to do doggy style, that way he doesn't have an unconscious person drooling on him. Had a second date with a guy. He stayed the night. We made out but didn't have sex. Then the next morning, I definitely blew him, and as he was coming, my roommate, who had been cooking bacon or something in the kitchen, set off the smoke detector. Something about the timing of the alarm going off as he was getting off just really made me laugh. Wait, are you sure you blew him? Definitely. Mid-anal, she decides she wants to 69. She gets off my dick and spins around to suck while I eat her out. And she must have relaxed too much because she took a shit on my face. We're getting married next year. Luckily she found it hilarious because I was mortified. Dude, you fucked the shit out of her. Ah, Jesus Christ, man. I think I would just black the fuck out from shame and horror if I shit on someone's actual face while in the act. I don't believe my psyche would ever recover from that. I'm more horrified that she was happy to put your dick in her mouth right after it had been in her ass. This is why you never go ass to mouth. A cop knocked on the window of the car we were in. He seemed more embarrassed than us. Turns out he'd been dating the girl I was with. Very awkward to say the least. I felt kinda shitty about that. Please tell me they were not dating at the time, because I can't possibly think of a worse scenario. They were dead when I got there, Sergeant. Must have been one of them religious folk. This is with my current so. A few months ago we were getting hot and heavy and his absolute best friend called in the middle of it. Without missing a beat, my boo answered the call, still thrusting. His friend was inviting us both out to go eat brunch. Watching this man just smiling down at me, trying his absolute best not to make it sound like he's having sex while still very much having IT and talking about his favorite food made me laugh my ass off. Needless to say, we never finished, but fuck, it made my day. I met a guy off of Craigslist once. I only share this story with my closest friends, so here goes nothing. I was trying to get over someone I loved who had just moved away, so I decided to do this on a whim. The guy from Craigslist literally looked like the spitting image of Paul Rudd. No joke. So I was like, fuck yes, let's do this. We started making out and our clothes started coming off. Things start getting hot and heavy. I grab his hair to pull on it a little, and it fucking comes off. His hair was in my hands. I realized within about 5 seconds of silence that I had just pulled a toupee off of his head. And then I started to cry. Because wow, I can't trust anybody. Not even their hair. I spent the next 10 minutes trying to convince him that I wasn't crying because of his toupee. It partially was and wasn't. Looking back at it now, I think it's hilarious, but at the time I was mortified. Probably when I lost my virginity. Accidentally poked her in the butthole from behind and she turned around, stuck a finger in my face, and sternly said no. I laughed and told her it was an accident and we proceeded from there. Also, that one time my roommate guarded my locked bedroom door during a party. I was balls deep in my FWB doggy style and another friend was standing next to him, slammed the door shut, and then I heard him scream my eyes through the wall. I can't remember if we finished or not. My nickname for a while at my husband's job was Trooper, cause the first time we hooked up I was giving him a blowjob and he gave me a heads up that he was about to come. What does my dumbass do? I gave him a thumbs up. He came and then began to laugh. Then he recounted the story to his work buddies and one said, "Ah, she's a real trooper then," and it stuck. Last time we saw this particular co-worker at a bar, he greeted me as Trooper, still, 3 years on. I don't remember all the details, but my boyfriend at the time played some prank on me. Everything was good and fun, but I felt like I needed revenge. So while we were having sex, I was on top of him and had to fart. Normally I just hold it and deal, but this was my chance for revenge. I stopped moving and he just looked up at me and asked what I was doing. I farted right on his balls, loud and juicy sounding. He laughed so fucking hard. It was my perfect revenge. GF and I are both working from home, which has led to midday quickies, our meetings. It's awesome. Little bit of role play. I'm a lucky guy. Anyway, last week we're right in the middle and my phone rings. I'm certain it's my boss. So I stop and run out to the living room to get my phone, but I'm still wearing socks and I slip rounding a corner and just completely hit the floor. No grace at all. So I answer the phone and I'm laughing at myself and out of breath from the sex, and my boss is confused as to why I'm so amused at the news of other people getting furloughed. So he probably thinks I'm an asshole. Ended the call, and between the falling, laughing, and subject and length of the call, I was completely flaccid. Yes, we finished. This is my most important meeting and I always meet my deliverables. An ex-boyfriend had a daddy kink. During sex, he asked me who he was. I'm the dumbest person on earth, so I responded with my boyfriend. He said no and asked again. Kyle? He said not quite. It then clicked in my head and I broke out laughing during sex. Didn't mean to kink shame, but I stopped having sex just to laugh at him. My dog licked his balls while we were in the doggy style with the dog or yo-so. A horse put its head in through the car window and licked my butt as I was in the throes of passion with a lady. Was banging this chick from college years ago. She actually kicked her mum out the house so we could fuck. Anyway, she had this big fucking dog. A long-haired Alsatian, and while I was doing her doggy, this thing came into the room and sat next to the bed watching us. It was kinda creepy because I didn't notice him come in. I just caught him out the corner of my eye mid-thrust. So I dismount, my plan to kick him out of the room. I tell her to wait there, he'll be back in a second. This fucking dog jumps on the bed as soon I move, jumps on her, and starts fucking humping. No penetration thankfully, but still hilarious too. Hostel in Rome. One of those cheap rooms with about 8 bunk beds per room. Right on the other side of the wall was the communal area / bar. I had been flirting with this Kiwi girl for most of the night. At one point, we discover the bedroom is empty, so we close the door and go at it. About 10 minutes in, the bunk bed collapses on us. About 20 people rush in at the sound of the crash and screams. We got teased pretty unmercifully for the rest of the night. Finished smashing after everyone else was asleep, though, so no harm done. Was having sex with my girl, I slowed down the pace to a complete stop, and right before I nutted inside her, I whispered to her ear, "Hail Hydra." All of the lust turned into laughter. Thank you for watching. Tell me what you think in the comments. Like, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more. You are a legend.